Oh, I see YouTube up in the corner. Great. Okay, so we can start. Okay, this meeting of the Kailua Village Design Commission will come to order. The time is 5:20 p.m. Welcome, everyone. My name is Sean Roth. I'm the chairperson of the Kailua Village Design Commission. Based on the mayor's proclamation regarding COVID-19, these meetings will be online until further notice. This is to prevent the spread of COVID-19 and maintain social distancing. I will introduce the commissioners so everyone doesn't have to unmute. We have Zahn Sullenberger, Bryant Ching, Jasmine Kursat, Michaela Ikiuchi, Riley Smith, and Arn Werchek, all on today. The commissioner's role is to provide an architectural and design review of proposed projects, including landscaping and signage within the Kailua Village Special District. The commission is an advisory body. For sign permits, the commission's recommendations are forwarded to the Public Works Director for action. For architectural design review, the commission's recommendations are forwarded to the Planning Director for action. The procedures of this meeting are Robert's Rules of Order will be used to conduct the meeting. Each commissioner wishing to speak should be recognized by the chairperson. Wave your hand or unmute and try and get my attention. Applicants and members of the public should be recognized by the chairperson when testifying or asking questions. Public testimony was limited to only written testimony via email or submitted to Hilo Kona planning departments. Staff, was there any testimony submitted for this application?
No, we have not received anything.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, thank you. Each application will be heard on the order that is listed on the agenda. Staff will introduce each project. Applicants will be asked to make a presentation or statement, which will be followed by questions from the commissioners. The commissioner, after discussion, will vote to make a recommendation for approval, denial, or deferral. First item on the agenda is the approval of minutes. And on the agenda, there was 3 sets of minutes that were listed: December 8th, 2020, January 26th, 2021, and April 27th, 2021. And I believe that only the December and April minutes were distributed. And so the January 26th minutes will defer until our next meeting. Are there any corrections to the minutes that were distributed? Okay, I'm looking at everyone's, no one's unmuting, no one's raising their hand. Okay, so hearing no corrections, the minutes from the December 8th and April 27th are approved. First item of new business. The applicant, Scott Bast of Impact Wealth of Hawaii LLC, has submitted a sign variance application for a wall sign to read Impact Wealth with a logo on one side of an existing commercial building. The wall sign would front Henry Street. The wall sign height is 34.5 inches. Height of the logo by 184.05 inches for a total of 44.10 square feet. The maximum letter heights proposed are 13.24 inches and 10.46 inches. The proposal includes a sign made of acrylic material with LED modules for illumination. The proposed colors of the letters are blue with a background painted to match the existing approved color of the building. The logo is proposed the light blue and dark blue in a shield-like design with an orange sunburst. The height of the sign is approximately 30 feet. Landowner is John David Raposa et al. TMK is 75004-058. It's located at 75-1000 Henry Street in Kailua, Kona. Will staff please give us an introduction to this application?
Thank you, Chair. It's Rosalind Newland. I have the PowerPoint. I'm going to share just a minute here. Are you sharing the Zoom screen or the PowerPoint? Okay, oops. Okay, this is tonight's agenda. Impact Wealth sign variance application. This is an aerial that shows the intersection of Henry Street. Let me get the pointer here. And well, that doesn't hard to see, but here's Henry Street. There's Queen Kailua Highway. There's the L shape of the building right there. Let's see if I can get a better pointer. There we go. Here's the L shape of the building. There's the shape of the parcel. We're familiar with that. Okay. There is an aerial front side of the view from Henry Street with just the one sign, Planet Fitness, on this side. And from Queen Kailua Highway, there's Coldwell Banker sign and Planet Fitness. This is their part of their application. We zoom in. They show the same sign. That's what they want to put is Impact Wealth. And I've got the dimensions. They're on this page. No, I've got it on a different page. There, it's right here. Let me zoom in. So I can zoom. There's a 34.5 inches for the shield-like design. And there's the letters at 13.24 maximum for the impact for the capital letter, for the tallest letters, and 10.40 for the smaller capital letters, and 154 inches wide, or 184, sorry. There is an elevation of the building. The yellow zone shows where the sign would be, at approximately 30 feet elevation of the building. The total height of the building is 40 feet measured to the mid hip of the roof for the plan approval for this building, issued in 1997. This is a summary of the Chapter 3 signs per Section 3-58, which covers Kailua Village Special District. And per Section 3-58A 5B, if a lot frontage is greater than 30 lineal feet, a wall sign shall not exceed 15% of the total exposed area of the wall on which the sign is displayed, or 22 square feet, whichever is less. Department of Public Works helped me with this part of the sign code. So if they weren't requesting a variance, the sign wouldn't be allowed to be any greater than 22 square feet, or 15% of total exposed area of the wall. And per Section 3-58C, any lettering or symbol, including freestanding letters, should not exceed 9 inches in height. So that includes both the shield-like symbol or logo and the letters. And I'm going to show you in the next slide that compared to what they're requesting. And then the top edge of the wall sign per Section 3-59A4 shall not exceed 9 feet above the grade or finished floor level or 1/2 of the height of the wall in which it is located. So this is also a request for the variance on this sign, because it's at 30 feet and the building height's 40 feet, or even if it's above 9 feet, it could request a variance, it seems like. So here's a summary of what they're asking. The wall area is 44.10 square feet, and the code allows 22 square feet. The maximum letter height that they're asking for is 13.24 and 10.46 inches. And the logo or symbol is 34.5 inches, and the sign allows, without a variance, 9 inches. And then for the wall elevation, that would require variance. And this is part of the sign code variance application from the applicant, Impact Wealth. They said in their application they would like to request a sign variance for the proposed illuminated wall sign at their new office. Says the sign exceeds the Kailua Village District's allowable size, but its dimensions will be between that of the existing wall signs of the building. Having a highly visible sign will allow our clients to locate the office easily. We feel that granting of this variance will not adversely affect the neighboring properties or tenants and will not unreasonably violate the interest, safety, convenience, or general welfare of the public. Sorry, I'm not in trouble talking today. Okay, and that's the end of the slideshow. I just wanted to point out, I can leave this on in case there's any questions about the slideshow in a minute. Just want to point out there were variances approved in the past. I did show you the existing signs on the buildings, point those out again. Caldwell Banker received by resolution and adopted by County Council back in 2011. Well, that was for Merrill Realty, but that's the same sign. It's Caldwell Banker Merrill Realty, approval of their sign variance. And then when Borders was there, that was a very large sign that was approved by the Planning Commission. And Anderson Wealth Planning did have a sign there, but maybe they've left the building. Maybe they're no longer there. I don't see the sign anymore, but that was previously in 2013. And then back in 2019, Planet Fitness came for this sign. Let me zoom in on here. This sign, previously they came for a rather large sign. And that one was back in 2019, the Kailua Village Design Commission in April of 2019. After quite a bit of discussion, recommended denial of their sign variance application. And then the applicant came back with a compliance sign, which is this sign right here, that meets the code of the 9 inches and the 22 square feet area. And it was approved in July of 2019. Does anyone have any questions? Or Chair, did you want to ask that? Anyone?
There we go.
Pardon me?
I'm unmuted. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. Does commissioners any questions for staff? Okay, Commissioner Smith.
Yeah, thanks, Sean. So one of the questions I had was within the packet, there were a number of letters that went out from Impact Wealth to neighbors. So I was just wondering if any of those neighbors responded to the notice.
That would be a question to the Department of Public Works if Mr. Tanaka can respond to that after or now. That's a variance application that's handled by their office.
Good evening, commissioners. Neil Tanaka, Deputy Building Chief for Department of Public Works Building Division. In reviewing this package, I did see those letters that Commissioner Smith is referring to. And there was no indication that the responses were to come to the Department of Public Works, nor was there the listed timelines of 20 days for response required. And so Department of Public Works Building Division it has no indication that these were sent out or received nor responded to.
Sean, can I make a comment?
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
So looking at the letters, they're dated January 13th, 2021. So I'm assuming that if there were any concerns from these neighbors that they would have replied in the last four and a half months. So I'm fine that they made the notice requirements and that the neighbors had an opportunity to raise any concerns that they might have. So I'm good on that issue.
Okay.
I had another question, Sean.
Yeah, go ahead, Commissioner Smith.
Yeah, so I noticed in the packet that this is a illuminated sign and there's LED light sources within. So I'm assuming that before this gets installed that they pull an electric permit in order to be able to illuminate the sign. Neil, is that a separate issue or how do you guys manage that? Make sure that they're complying with the National Electric Code?
Thank you for that, Commissioner Smith. Yeah, Neil Tanaka, Building Division. Yeah, part of the packet included, I believe, a electrical permit application.
It did, Mr. Tanaka. I just didn't put it in the presentation. There was both the electrical permit attached to the sign permit. It was included in the packet.
Correct. And so for us at the building division, we would be processing both. Now, granted that this is a variance process, that electrical application will be on hold until that variance is either granted or denied, or whatever the outcome of that variance is.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Sean, I'm good. I have no further questions. I'll be supporting this.
Okay. Commissioners, any other questions for staff? Oh, Neil, you have something, comment to make?
Yeah, if you don't mind, I would like to ask the applicant if those letters of comment did go out, and if they do have a proof of service.
Okay. Well, we'll get to the questions for the applicant, and so
Okay.
we'll be sure to bring that up. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so that brings us exactly to where we go. Does the applicant have anything they'd like to present? And maybe they could address the question about responses from the neighbors. I think someone is on.
Yes. Can you all hear me?
Yeah, if you could introduce yourself.
Yeah, this is Scott Ast. I'm co-founder of Impact Wealth. First of all, thank you guys so much for taking the time on this and for having us. My partner, Michael Petrosian, is also on with us. So yes, to answer the question, Neil, those letters were mailed out as dated. I think if it wasn't included on the letter with a certain date timeline, it was that was certainly a mistake on our part if that was the case. But those were mailed out, and we had not received any responses since mailing them out in January. Yes, and to affirm the electrical permit that was submitted with the packet as well for the side lighting. So just to clarify too, on the lighting, it's not front lit letters. It's more of a side lit channel. So it's not going to be as bold as a front lit letter. And yeah, in terms of just to address something else that had come up, the Anderson Wealth Planning sign is still on the building. It's just on the corner. It's on the bubble of that building. And so, yeah, but I'm happy, or Michael, happy to answer any questions.
Great, thank you. Commissioners, does anyone have any questions for the applicant? Okay, yeah, Commissioner Werchek, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just curious. I assume that this is a normal business hours business. So I was curious why you need an illuminated sign. I don't see any reason why it should be illuminated at nighttime.
Oh, to be totally honest with you, it's marketing, marketing reasons. As people know where we are. People are driving up and down that road all day and night, and so it'd be visible even at night as people are driving by.
No, I'm a little uncomfortable with illuminating a sign at night for a business that's not operating in the evenings.
Our posted hours, our office hours, where our office manager will be in office, or obviously during the daytime.
Yeah.
However, a lot of times we'll be having meetings at night, or we'll be there working in our office at night usually. So. Yeah, so the idea of having the side channel lit was not to be so bold and in your face, but it was also so people could see and know where we were.
Thank you. Commissioners, any other questions? Any other questions for the applicant? Okay. I guess I had one question, maybe going back to staff or if someone else can help jog my memory, but I believe that the Planet Fitness signs are eliminated, and they are not now.
Yes,
right?
Yes, they are.
I think they are.
Yeah, they are.
And then I don't recall for the Merrill or the Anderson Wealth whether those are.
Sure.
Merrill is eliminated, and Anderson Wealth, no, is not.
Okay. Okay, so no other, Neil, do you have something you want to say? Your hand's up.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Roth. It is to staff. I was curious as to what the zoning of that property is.
It's CG20, general commercial.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, great. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Okay, so now we'll move on to discussion for this. I think commissioners, I think most of us were on the commission here when the whole Planet Fitness thing was happening. And just to sort of summarize some of that, I think one of the big issues there was that they put their sign up, their big sign up, without even asking for no sign application or anything. They just put it up without coming to the Kailua Village. And I recall that being one of the major reasons why later on then they were not granted any type of variance. And as we heard, there's sort of a history of variance with this building. And when we were doing that Planet Fitness sign, one of the issues there that we had discussed that I remember was that, just because one tenant has a variance doesn't mean that the next one also gets the same variance, right? Which I think that's valid. And in that case, they sort of skipped the process. Now, in this case, I feel like, this applicant is, following the process properly, and, and they've, have a professional sign company doing their sign, and they're doing it like they should. And in my view, they're not asking for too much as far as the size goes. This particular building, being on Henry Street and Queen Kalamanu, it's hardly the village there. It's 8 lanes and 5 lanes, something like that. So it is bigger area than the typical village. And I believe it's the very edge of the village. The next building up is outside of the jurisdiction already, where they can have the larger signs. So for me, I would be inclined that, if anywhere there was a reason for a variance, this would be a good place for it. I also would just like to comment and sort of out to everybody, but I wish that buildings like this would do the master sign permit for the entire building. We've done that for a couple other projects, and I think that makes for a much better, more streamlined process, rather than having every single applicant, every time they come up, having to do their own separate review. But commissioners, does anyone else have any discussion items they'd like to bring up regarding this application? Okay, Commissioner Werchek?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, my question earlier suggested, I don't have a problem with the size, but this is a request for a variance, so I think it's fair game to question the illumination. Planet Fitness is a 24-hour operation, and I understand why they would want to have an illuminated sign. But an investment company is a regular business hours business. And while I appreciate their desire to advertise and spread the name around and get more people thinking about them, I just don't know that that's appropriate to add more light and more nighttime signage on a major route than otherwise would ordinarily occur. So I'm opposed to a variance if it includes an illuminated sign.
Yeah, thank you. Commissioner Smith?
Yeah, hold on. Shit. Thank you, Sean. I understand Commissioner Werchek's concerns, and I'm wondering if the applicant would be comfortable with manually turning on the illumination when they're operating. Because I know a lot of time with financial planners, you do have night meetings, you have clients coming in the evening. Maybe someone's coming from up north along the coast and not familiar with where you're at. if you would not be in operation after 8 o'clock, either turn it off at 8 o'clock or have it on a timer so that when you're not in operation, that it could be not illuminated? Is that something the applicant might be comfortable with doing?
Yeah, absolutely. If that was if this was a sticking point for all of you, and it was something that was contingent on that point, we would of course be more than happy to comply however you guys see fit, and set a certain time limit or however that's supposed to look. So we're absolutely not opposed to that. Obviously, that's the desire to do so, but if it's going to hinder the whole process, then we'll humbly do whatever you guys require.
Chairman?
Thanks. Commissioner Wercheck?
Yeah, I don't see how you could enforce you promise to turn it off at 8 o'clock if you're just having one meeting a night once a month or something. There's just no way for public enforcement and for code compliance to enforce that kind of a loosey-goosey rule. I think it's either going to be an illuminated sign and they have the right to have it on for advertising, or it's going to not be an illuminated sign. And if they want to have evening meetings, that's fine. They give people the address. The address is easily located. The building is certainly easily located. Anybody flying into the Big Island. I'm sensitive to the addition of additional lighting at night, and it just doesn't seem necessary to me at all.
This is Michael Petrosian. I'm sorry, this is Michael Petrosian, co-founder of Impact Wealth.
Okay.
I'm sorry, this is my first time at a meeting like this. I don't know if it's okay to interrupt like this, but I just wanted to say one thing. We actually thought that through when we decided to go with a backlit design. And I agree that we don't want any sign in Kona that shines out across town like a beacon. It's really meant to be subdued and to be tasteful. And it's not a sign that you're going to be able to see from even the next intersection over. You're going to have to be up close to it. But when you are at night, it'll be backlit and you'll be able to see what it says. So I just wanted to reiterate that point. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, well, I see that, especially in the blue colors, that deep blue colors, I think the illumination is going to be pretty subtle. Commissioners, does anyone else have any comments they'd like to bring up regarding the sign size or the lighting? No other discussion?
Hi, this is Commissioner Ikeuchi. May I speak?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that I do agree with Commissioner Wercheck's concerns. I think coming off the heels of the original Planet Fitness sign and how brightly illuminated that sign was, it was very jarring. So although the new signs are illuminated, they are quite small. So I'm trying to keep in mind that the letter height of this sign is only 13 inches. And I'm taking that into consideration, but I think that there is some hesitation because of that. I was wondering if the applicant would consider, instead of having it illuminated from the inside, maybe having lights pointed at it, or if that's something that they have thought about at any point.
Would either of the applicants here like to comment on that?
Yeah, absolutely. No. So sorry, to answer your question, Commissioner, this is something we didn't really consider in terms of creating some kind of spotlight effect or anything like that. In fact, I think this will be even more subtle than a spotlight because again, the letters are going to be more backlit. And so it's not even going to be to the same effect. Planet Fitness shoots straight out of the channel itself. And the reality is we were very cognizant of as well, that we weren't looking to make some big giant monstrosity on the side of the building either, which is why it's really honestly, as you could see the picture, the scale that they went ahead and did for us in light of the Planet Fitness sign. And you'll see once it's up there on the building, it's really honestly not that much larger than the Planet Fitness sign itself. It's a tiny bit larger. Not as large as some of the other signs in the building, not near as large as the one on the corner. But to specifically answer that question, no, we didn't consider spotlight because I honestly thought that would be more bold than the backlit that we were trying to accomplish.
Yeah. Hey, thanks, Scott.
Thank you.
Yeah, and so Commissioner Ikuchi, I think I would agree with Scott on that, because if you had a light shining back at the building, it's going to reflect off the walls and other things. I think it would actually be brighter, and it would be harder to shield that than having sort of this more low glow in the sign. Yeah.
I can see that, definitely. I think that, yeah, if it was a lower illumination and, it was very subtle, and if it's backlit, then that makes more sense. But it was just an idea. I was thinking about all the, businesses out in Waikoloa that kind of have like a softer, like spotlight effect. And I thought it looked quite classy and a little subtle. So it was an idea, but that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. So commissioners, does anyone else have any discussion that they want to bring up? Oh, Mr. Tanaka, hand up.
Thank you, Commissioner Roth. Just to address Commissioner Werchek's concern and to give Mr. Ast some perspective as well with their consideration for a timer. The County of Hawaii has an outdoor lighting ordinance specific to lighting signs, translucent signs. Generally that they are exempt from that code, except that there is some timing elements that the lights should be off at 11 p.m. to sunrise. So there is an outdoor lighting compliance of element to this.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So Commissioner Werchek, if the sign was off, timed to be off from 11 p.m. till sunrise, would that be more comfortable for you?
I just don't like illuminated signs at night if they're not necessary. It's advertising. It's not, the purpose of the sign is to advise the public your business is there. That's one function. A separate function is a billboard function. I think they're going for the billboard function. I would separate those out. Like put a billboard up somewhere else.
Okay. Commissioner Cruzat?
Hi. So I would just like to say that I do think that I'm okay with the illuminated signage. The issue is the 34.5-inch logo. To me, I believe it should be scaled down, as Planet Fitness's one is scaled down as well. I do understand that it is higher up, so I'm okay with the 13.24 inches for their lettering, but I do think that their logo should be scaled down. That would actually, help with the, advertising part as well. And that way Arn's concern of having it illuminated. Yeah, I just think it should be 34 inches from 9 inches was the allowed to 34 inches. I think it's a very big difference for that sign to be that large.
Okay. Yeah, I think Safeway was like 36 inches for their big S, but that was down from like 8 feet originally. Yeah. Okay, commissioners, any comments or thoughts on the logo size?
Sean, this is Commissioner Sullenberger.
Go ahead.
I'm just looking at kind of the overall photograph of where the sign would be, and I feel like it's proportionate to the building, right? I think that it works well with the architecture, so I intend to support it. I also feel that the backlit aspect of it will in fact be a very subtle, a subtle presentation, and it doesn't bother me with Planet Fitness already kind of spewing purple out there. So I intend to support this measure.
Okay, thank you, Zon. Commissioners, any further discussion? Okay, would anyone like to try proposing a motion regarding this application? Commissioner Ching is smiling. Commissioner Smith.
Based on Commissioner Stallenberger's comments, I would move that we approve the application as submitted.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve the application as submitted.
I will second it as Commissioner Sullenberger.
Seconded by Commissioner Sullenberger. Do we have any further discussion on the motion? Okay, I see the little green bubble moving around, but no one actually is raising their hand or saying anything. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Shall we take a vote?
Chair, shall I take a roll call vote then?
Yes, please.
Okay. Okay, so Commissioner Smith made a motion to move the project application as submitted. And Commissioner Sullenberger seconded the motion. So we'll go to Commissioner Ching.
Yay.
Is that an aye?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. And Commissioner Krusat?
Nay.
Nay, okay. Commissioner Ikiuchi?
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner Kern is excused. Commissioner Smith, maker of the motion?
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner Sullenberger, second of the motion?
Aye.
Aye. And Commissioner Werchik?
No.
Aye, nay. Okay, we have 4 ayes and 2 nays. So it's still. Okay, Commissioner Chair Roth, would you like to vote then, please?
So I need to vote. Okay,
Yes.
I'm gonna vote aye.
Aye, okay. So we have 5 ayes and 2 nays. So the motion passes. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Impact Wealth, for being here and for following the process correctly.
Yes, thank you to everyone here. I just wanted to say that I respect and appreciate those concerns that were addressed here today. And I can assure you that my partner and I have thought through those things and think that that the sign will be tasteful and be a good thing for our town. So thank you very much.
Yes,
Thank
very
you.
appreciated.
Mr. Tanaka, you had your hand up?
Yeah, just a brief. I don't want to intrude too much on the commission meeting, but just to give the applicants a heads up with regards to the process. We will be at Public Works Building Division. We'll be receiving KVDC's recommendation and we'll be moving a variance forward to the director. What I do recommend is providing a communication that those letters did go out and that you did not receive any kind of comments, just for clarification.
Most certainly. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And Neil, thank you for joining us tonight and helping to clarify a number of these things. Okay, so that's our only item of business. And so are there any administrative matters that we need to look at? Okay.
No,
okay,
Chair, there aren't any.
none. Okay. And so then announcements, and Commissioner Smith, you had your hand up. Do you have an announcement?
Can I make a suggestion for the department to follow up on something?
Sure.
So 2 items. One, earlier in the meeting, you had mentioned that it would be desirable for the building owner to come in and provide a consolidated sign package program. Is that something that the planning department can send a letter to the owner suggesting that?
And so I think it would be Public Works, right? Because Public Works is the ones who do signs. So is that right? Yeah. I think maybe we should follow that up with Public Works, yeah.
Well, the motion was already made if there was going to be an addition to go out.
Oh, no,
There were only one tenant.
This is new business question. It has nothing to do with this applicant anymore. Yeah.
So Neil Tanaka, DPW Building Division. While I understand as that would be something that would be nice to have, imposing a requirement that's not necessarily required by code is a position that would be hard to support from us. And so while we would support perhaps opening that communication with the owners, making them or requiring them to do so would be a challenge because it's not necessarily a requirement of the code.
Yeah. So it might, way back we said what should be changed as far as the guidelines for Kailua Village. That would be something to add to the list of things that could be changed in the guidelines. Yeah. Commissioner Smith?
Yeah, thanks, John. One more comment. So, I wanted to acknowledge Neil Tanaka for being available for representing the department this evening. I'm not clear what the process the planning department follows when informing Public Works that there's an item on the agenda. But I think as of about 1:30 or 2 o'clock today, he didn't realize that he was going to be involved in this meeting. So I'm asking if there's a way that the planning department and the Public Works department can communicate with each other better so that if a packet goes to someone at Public Works and you're expecting a reply, that someone at planning department follows up on that reply to ensure that we're able to conduct this meeting. Because I think without Neil's participation and clarification on some of the items, it would have been difficult for us to even come to a decision on this application, and then the applicant would have to come back again. And I don't think that's fair to the applicant. If the county can collaborate better and communicate better, I think that's what we owe to the residents of this island. So that's my suggestion, but I wanted to thank you, Neil, for being available and representing the department.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Smith. So do we have any other announcements?
There is no June 8th meeting. There was an incomplete application submitted, but it was not complete. So the next tentatively scheduled meeting is June 22nd.
Okay. Great. We get a little bit of a summer break. Okay. Okay, so if there's no further announcements, is there any further business?
Nope.
Not from planning department, no.
Okay, great. So if there's no further business, then the meeting is adjourned at 6:03 p.m. Thank you all for signing in and getting us through this one.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you all.
Thanks.
Good night.
Good evening. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Have a great evening.